There are so many queer women out there who think that a good relationship just means it doesn't hurt too much, that the best you can hope for is simply not getting broken. But what if that's just the bare minimum? What nobody really talks about is this. There are real, quiet signs that show when love between women is truly healthy. They don't shout, but they shift everything. And once you start recognizing these 5 positive signs in queer women relationships, the way you love, choose, and even see yourself begins to change. If you've ever wondered if you're asking for too much, if you've questioned whether soft love is even real, this video is for you. Here, you'll finally hear what no one ever told you about what makes a relationship truly safe, grounding, and healing. Comment below, "I want a love that calms me." Tap like and stay with me till the end, because maybe what you've been calling luck in love was actually just a lack of reference. After so many LGBTQIA+ relationships marked by fear, rejection, or uncertainty, we end up training our eyes to only spot red flags. We brace ourselves, waiting for the hurt. But sometimes, love is blooming too. There are queer women out there building relationships rooted in ease, softness, and connection, love that doesn't demand effort to exist, only presence. Some of us only learned how to recognize what feels wrong, as if loving someone was always supposed to feel like dangerous territory. But what if the most important signs in a queer relationship are actually the ones that whisper, "Here you can breathe, here you can be, here you can even mess up and still be held with love"? When love between women shows up with calm, when the touch carries respect and even silence feels like listening, something deep inside us starts to exhale. The truth is, the hardest part isn't always loving another queer woman. It's believing that it could actually feel good, that the relationship could be stable, fun, grounded, and deeply emotional at the same time. That emotional safety does exist. The problem: most of us were never taught how to recognize it. So let's do this together. Take a deep breath, because this video will help you notice in yourself the exact moment when the safety to love another woman quietly starts to show up in the tiniest, most beautiful ways. When a woman looks you in the eyes while you speak, without interrupting, without trying to fix you, without minimizing what you're feeling, she's offering something rare: emotional presence. Pay attention to how she listens when the topic gets uncomfortable, or when you're confused and struggling to find the right words. Because it's in those moments, the messy, unfiltered ones, that love between women becomes even more real. No pressure, just space. In queer relationships, when that kind of listening happens, something settles. It's like love stops being an abstract feeling and starts becoming a grounding place, a home. For many of us, being truly heard is the first sign that love can be safe. Being fully present, attentive, curious, open to what the other person feels, that's when you say something hard and receive silence that holds you, or a gentle question, or even just a quiet hand on your arm that says, "Go on, I'm right here." As queer women, so many of us carry stories of being silenced, of always needing to explain ourselves. So when someone listens to you with softness and without judgment, that becomes healing. In these kinds of LGBTQIA+ relationships, what seems simple is actually powerful. A single "I'm listening," said with eyes that stay on you, can be worth more than 1,000 well-rehearsed lines. It validates your pain, your doubts, your fear, and maybe even more beautifully, it validates your joy, because loving another queer woman is also about celebrating tiny victories and knowing she'll cheer for you, not compete with you. In so many relationships between queer women, one of the clearest signs of a healthy bond is this: the freedom to grow, to change without the fear of no longer being loved. When there's space to evolve without drifting apart, love doesn't get stuck. It grows too right alongside the people who live it. It's like walking side by side, even when your inner paths take different turns. And what's most beautiful? That space doesn't require you to prove anything. It's built through real listening, genuine curiosity, and above all, acceptance. In that kind of peaceful freedom, self-worth starts to bloom. You begin to feel, deep down, that you don't need to fit into anyone's mold to be worthy of love. That loving another woman can feel light. In a safe queer connection, you're allowed to be strong and soft, all in the same day. You can change your mind, you can reinvent yourself, and that quiet, steady permission is what turns love into a place of emotional rest, a place where you don't have to perform, you just get to exist. The foundation of emotional safety in a relationship between queer women is knowing you can be fully yourself, flaws, pain, silence, and all, and still be held with care, not as a rare exception, but as part of the daily rhythm of your love. This kind of safety doesn't show up all at once. It grows slowly. In the way she listens when you share a fear, in the way she stays when you cry, in how she respects your boundaries without making you feel guilty. This kind of care is a deep medicine for many of us women who've learned to stay quiet just to avoid being called too much. But here's the beautiful thing. This kind of safety doesn't silence your intensity. It helps you hold it. It turns the chaos inside into something that can be shared safely. That's where love between women becomes rooted in trust, not control. It doesn't demand you be strong all the time. It doesn't measure love by how stable you seem that day. Loving another woman deeply and freely doesn't depend on being at your best. It only depends on presence, on that quiet, steady energy that says, I'm here, even when things get heavy. And sometimes that kind of love finds you right in the moment you finally show the parts of yourself you've spent a lifetime trying to hide. Lightness is often mistaken for shallowness, but in a relationship between queer women, lightness is what holds you together on the hard days. It's that laugh in the middle of the mess, the soft touch on your shoulder when there are no words, the glance that says, we've got this, even if no one promises anything. This kind of lightness doesn't come from avoiding problems, it comes from partnership. Hard conversations are met with respect. Silence isn't used as punishment, and daily life becomes a backdrop for tiny moments of joy. Like sharing breakfast after a tense night, not because everything was perfectly resolved, but because she gets it. She's there. She feels it with you. Healthy relationships between queer women aren't built on perfection. They're built on spaces where care always finds its way back to the center. Kindness isn't just a one-time gesture. It's a habit, even on the heavy days. And that's what makes love feel like shelter. A place where you're still welcome, even when you're not at your best. When you don't have to defend yourself all the time, your body softens, your heart loosens, and the bond deepens. Loving another woman with shared lightness means knowing you can breathe together and even laugh, especially when things are hard. And the beautiful thing, when that kind of lightness is truly nurtured, love doesn't just survive, it expands. In a healthy relationship between queer women, the bond is built on admiration, on genuine support. It's that kind of connection where she looks at you and says, go for it, I've got your back. This kind of love sees the other woman's light as inspiration, not competition, and that changes everything. In queer relationships rooted in self-worth and affection, her success becomes your pride, whether it's a new career, a bold haircut, or a dream she's finally chasing. When there's mutual growth, love keeps evolving. Loving another woman in this way means not fearing her transformation, because in this kind of connection, there's no power struggle, just a sincere desire to see her live fully. Safe queer love becomes an antidote to all the times the world tried to shrink you. It reminds you again and again, you're allowed to take up space and still be loved deeply for who you are. When two women love each other like this, what they create is magic. Because this kind of love, it sets you free. And that's when you start to see what once felt impossible as something beautifully within reach. In queer relationships, the signs of real love don't always show up like fireworks. Sometimes they show up in silence, in a long hug after a rough day, in the way she respects your space, in the way she looks at you when you're simply being yourself. And that's when it clicks. Loving another woman with depth and freedom also means allowing yourself to be guided by this kind of love. Quiet, steady, real. Healthy LGBTQIA+ relationships aren't perfect, but they understand the power of consistent care. They remind us that emotional safety isn't a luxury, it's a foundation. That queer love can be soft, grounded, and true. These are the signs worth paying attention to. They are the compass pointing you toward the kind of love that stays, the kind that holds your hand and only lets go when you're ready to fly. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you experienced or hope to experience someday? Share it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what another queer woman needs to believe, that love real is out there and maybe closer than she thinks. Your story might be exactly what another queer woman needs to believe, that love real is out there and maybe closer than she thinks. Recognizing the positive signs in a relationship between women is an act of healing. It's a way to rebuild your self-worth, to remind yourself every single day that loving another woman can be soft and still run deep. Because queer love can be a place of breath, of balance, of mutual care. And the more you recognize these healthy signs, the closer you get to the love you've always deserved, even if no one ever told you it was possible. If this video touched something inside you, like it, share it, send it to someone special. Sometimes what a queer woman needs most is to hear exactly this: that her love is beautiful, safe, and real, and that she is not alone.